Hello, everyone. Welcome to my second channel, Swanee Rants. Today, my cat Louie will be joining us. So, everyone say hello to Louie. Oh, hi, Louie. I tried kicking him out before I started recording, but he didn't want to stay outside the room, so he'll be hanging out with us. So if you see him, running around, say hi to Louie. So today, I wanted to talk about YouTube being an easy job or a hard job. Now, ever since I've been doing YouTube, I've been doing it since 2015. I've heard nothing but YouTube is an easy job. I've heard it from other YouTubers. I've heard it from big YouTubers. I've heard it from people that don't do YouTube for a living. Like anyone that has a normal job will just say that, oh, I wish I could do YouTube for a living. YouTube seems so much easier. And oh, goodbye, Louie. And I've heard it my whole life. Well, not my whole life, but ever since I've started doing YouTube. So almost 10 years now. It started off as a hobby in college where I would do just kill streak videos and stuff. And then when I worked at a hospital, I eventually, I was still doing YouTube, but I was almost to the point where I was going to switch to make the switch to full-time YouTube. And during that time period, anytime someone at the hospital would ask about my job, or once word spread that I was doing YouTube, I would have so many older women and just people that didn't understand YouTube. And they would always make these comments of like, oh man, what am I doing here working at the hospital? I could be doing what you're doing. And that sounds way easier. I should do that. And I've always gotten those type of comments. And the reason I wanted to make this video is because recently when I just got this new house, we had a floor man come and he was like doing all our different floors in our bathrooms and stuff. And he made a couple like offhand comments where he was like, oh, you're in there sitting on your ass. I wish I could do your job. It must be nice to work from home and just sit on your ass all day. And then he said something like, I wish I could do your job and not do anything. And I just let it slide because I just wanted him to come in, do my floors and leave. So I didn't want to like cause conflict. I also don't want to argue with the guy that's laying down my floors. So I just kind of took it, but that really bugged me. I'm like, this dude, like I'm literally paying you money to do my floors and you think I just sit here and do nothing? Oh, Louis wants set out of the room. Okay, Louis gone. But yeah, there's always been this stigma where people just think that YouTube is super easy. And there's always going to be exceptions with any job where people luck out. That happens with YouTube, it happens with streamers, TikTokers. There's always these kids just gets it handed to them and they become multimillionaires off of YouTube, and then everyone thinks, oh, if that person can do it, anyone can do it. It must be super easy. I have worked in my life. I worked at Target. I did cashier. I did stocking. I stocked shelves. I did a little bit of warehouse work. Then in early college, I did a Best Buy job where I worked in the warehouse, and that was awful. Very physically demanding. I had to unload trucks and stuff. I had to move like big appliances around. So that job blew. Then I had my hospital job. I had multiple hospital jobs. I had a desk job and I had a materials handling job where I had to like stock shelves and I had to take phone calls and I had to gather materials for any doctors or nurses that needed them. Like they would call me, say, hey, I need a syringe. I would have to go get the syringe and then like put it in a tube or walk it like clear across the hospital to get to them. So that job was also awful. So I've had multiple jobs throughout my life. I also did 3 different unpaid internships when I was in college. So I have work experience outside of YouTube. I know that the outside world sucks, okay? I mean, I did retail, multiple different stores. And YouTube is by far way harder than any job I've ever had. It's harder than college, and it's harder than any job I've ever had. Because when you're at the position that I'm in and you're your own boss, everything's up and down. Like you have to decide, oh, can I have a day off? Can I afford to take days off? Every month pays out differently with YouTube. And if you do streaming for a living and you're living off donations and stuff, you can have 1 month where you make $10,000. And let's say like, I don't know, 4 or 5 years ago, I would tell somebody, oh, I made $10,000 in January. They'd be like, oh, holy crap, I want to switch to YouTube. I want to do that. You must be loaded with money. And that's just not the case. Just because you make like 10 grand in 1 month doesn't mean you make that every single month. There could be 1 month where I make 10 grand and then 6 months in a row where I make $1,000. And then the 7th month, I make like $5,000. So there are a million different factors with YouTube YouTube and let's say you take sponsorship deals. There's a ton of work that goes into sponsorships that people don't realize. Like you have to record multiple drafts sometimes of a script, or like, and you have to submit it to these companies. So say you do a sponsorship and they say, hey, we want you to talk about this, this, and this. You have to record it, upload it, send it to them. They have to approve of it. And then if they don't, you have to re-record it and do it again. YouTube, and a lot of it is very comparable to doing like a college essay or a college assignment, where you have like a rubric and you have like a syllabus or something, and it says, hey, you have to do this, this, and this, and you have to get it done by a certain amount of time. And if you don't, well, instead of getting a bad grade, you just don't make money. And now it's even harder now that like I recently hired my friend as an employee and he's an editor. I have not only myself relying off of money and the income that this channel brings in, but now there's 2 people that rely on getting paid from YouTube. So it can be very stressful. There's many days in my job as a YouTuber over the years where I've gotten like no sleep. Like it sounds easy, like, oh, you just sit on your butt and play video games and make videos on video games. That can't be too taxing, but it is taxing. Like there's so many days where I don't get to talk to my family. I don't get to talk to my girlfriend. I don't get to hang out or do anything because I'm literally sitting down. I have a deadline. Everything's time sensitive with the algorithm and the type of content that I make, where I have to get it out as soon as physically possible or I'm not going to get the views. And if I don't get the views, I don't get the money. Depending on the game that I'm covering, there's been days where I'll wake up at like 4 a.m. Like let's use Helldivers, for example. Helldivers normally has updates go out at like 4 in the morning, 5 in the morning. I'll get up at like 3:30 a.m., sometimes 4, eat my breakfast and stuff, sit around, wait until the update goes live. Then I will play the update literally as long as it takes until like 12 or 1 p.m. So from like 4 in the morning till 1 p.m., I'll be playing and recording. Then once I'm done recording, then the editing process would start. So that would take like another 3 or 4 hours. And so I wouldn't get a video done and uploaded and like put out there for everybody until maybe like 5 or 6. So that's just a small example of like a 12-hour day for something as simple as playing a Helldivers update. And that's if it's a small update like a War Bond. If there's like a big patch and they have like 30 different changes in their update, like that could take me 2 days of nonstop playing with literally only taking breaks to eat and maybe take a nap. And that happens with multiple games. So if I was like, I remember when I was covering Elden Ring, like the Elden Ring DLC, I played that like 4 days straight with close to no sleep. I was miserable just to like find out that the type of content I was going to make was already done from all the YouTubers that got early codes to the DLC. So it made all the videos I was going to make immediately obsolete because they're already out there for people to find. Like if I make a tip and trick video on how to find a certain armor set or how to complete a certain quest, but that video already exists and it already has hundreds of thousands of views, there's not really any point in me making that same video at that point. So there was a lot of stuff in the Elden Ring DLC where I grinded and grinded and grinded, and it just was for nothing. And that happens all the time with my job. I'll put in tons of hours just to realize, oh, this video isn't even going to work. I just wasted a ton of time. It's not as easy as some people think. It definitely varies from like channel to channel. Obviously, some channels have it easy, and the more subscribers you get and the more money you bring in, the easier it might get, maybe. I'm assuming if you're the boss and you're the top dog and you can hire like 4 or 5 different editors and you can hire people to like write you scripts and buy you props and buy you everything you need, I'm assuming it gets easier the more money you have, and maybe that's why big YouTubers always say I'm super privileged. I have this super easy job. But from my channel and my perspective, my point of view, I'm constantly like monitoring the algorithm, and I'm looking at trends, and I'm like, okay, is this video going to do well? Is this video going to do well? Oh, I just spent literally like 3 days making a video and it got 2,000 views and it made me like $6. Oh man, isn't that is one of the biggest like kick to the balls you can receive as a content creator. There's been so many times where I'm like, I'm going to take a gamble and I really want to work hard on this one video. And then I pour my heart and soul into it, and then no one watches it because it's something different than what you normally make. And the algorithm just decides, I'm not gonna push that out to people. And it's so hard when you put like 3 days into a video and no one watches it and you just have to pick yourself back up and just keep going. I just put in all this effort and it was for nothing at all. And then you got to keep going or else you're not going to have any money. And that takes a big mental tax. Like the mental side of things with this job is way harder than all those like physical jobs that I've had. And I get it. I know that there's jobs out there that's definitely harder than my job, especially physical jobs. My dad has worked a physical job his entire life. He's in his mid 50s now, and he still to this day has to go out in the freezing cold. He has to go out if it's hot. It doesn't matter. He's outside working. His body is just completely torn up because of his job. And he has been one of my, like, growing up, he was one of my inspirations to not have a job like him. Because of my dad, I was like, okay, I don't want that. I want to make sure I have an inside job where I'm doing something that I love. And that's kind of where I'm at now. I was like, I've seen that those jobs suck, and they definitely do. Like, I would not want an outside job where I'm lifting things like in construction or something. Like, that would be awful. So I'm not saying that those jobs are easy. I'm just saying that YouTube is not as easy as people make it seem. So like when the floor guy was like, hey, you just sit on your ass all day. It's like, yeah, technically I sit on my butt, but I'm working, I'm doing things, I'm researching things, I'm typing up things, I'm writing a script, or I'm researching different ways to make new videos, I'm looking up a new way to edit a video. Like it's a constant just back and forth of, will this work in the algorithm? Will that work in the algorithm? And it's always bugged me to see big YouTubers say, oh, I'm so privileged, I have such an easy job. And it makes me think, like, am I doing something wrong? Am I running my channel the wrong way, where my channel is just super hard compared to other channels? Because I don't think YouTube is easy whatsoever. I think for the average person, starting up a YouTube channel is very difficult, especially now. Like 5 or 6 years ago or longer, it would have been super easy. All you need is a camera and you can get started. Technically, anyone can do that. You can do that with your phone, but the algorithm is killer now. With Shorts and TikTok and Instagram Reels, everything is about, they want it to be short and they want it to be full of captions and they want everything to be boom, boom, boom. And there's so much of that getting flooded into the algorithms that it's really hard to like get something to pop off in the algorithm now. So it is not easy. If anyone tells you it's easy, they are so full of shit. And it's always irked me the wrong way. And then there's the whole like streaming aspect. Streaming is even harder, in my opinion, than making YouTube videos, because you have to put on a performance and you have to do it over and over and over again. Anytime I stream, it's like an immediate relief. As soon as I turn off the camera and my lights, it's like, oh, I can turn myself off. And I know for some people it's not that way, but for me and other people I've talked to about streaming, it's like, yeah, you have to put on a performance for people. You have to act professional, and it's like you're, I don't know, the best way to describe it is like if you are introverted and you don't like talking to people, and then you have to put on a fake performance for multiple hours because you're forced to, interact with people, and then as soon as you turn off the cameras, it's like, oh, I get that I get that relief. So that part is also taxing, and it's even harder to grow as a streamer because it's such a saturated market now. There's so many streamers. There's like millions of people trying to stream and capture everyone's views at the same time. So it's just so hard. And I've invested so much money into this business over the years. I've bought so many things. I've bought monitors, computers, microphones, like lighting, you name it. I've probably pumped in, I don't know, $15,000 to $20,000 worth of investments back into this business to try to get it to grow. And that's not an easy thing to do. So I don't know. I guess I just wanted to turn on the camera and just rant at the fact that people keep calling YouTube an easy job. And if it was, literally anyone would be doing it as a full-time job, and that's just not the case. It's the same with anything. Like, you have to be good at your job if you want to keep your job, and there's always going to be those outliers where somebody just got lucky and some teenager ends up being a multimillionaire and their YouTube channel might be easy to run. But for the average person to start up a YouTube channel and make it successful and be able to do it as a full-time career, that is not an easy feat. And I have a lot of respect for any YouTube channel and any YouTuber that is able to get to the position of of making it a full-time job or even a part-time job. So I just want to like put this out there. So maybe look at YouTubers a little bit differently and just just realize that not everyone has it easy and not everyone can just upload whatever and get paid. There's a lot of time and effort and research that goes into doing YouTube as a full-time job. That's basically what I wanted to say. So that's going to do it for everything in today's 20 rant video. Let me know what you guys think down in the comment section down below. If you're new here, hit the subscribe button and hit the bell for notifications. That way you don't miss out on any future rants. I think the new Star Wars show comes out today or tomorrow or something, so I'm probably going to review that and watch that on the channel, so stay tuned for that. And that is going to do it for me, guys, and I will talk to you all next time.